Hello, everyone. So, Kathy and I were just at the pond the other day, right, Kathy?
We
With
were.
the way home, visiting the way home. And when we came back, we traveled through time and we picked up this very talented and handsome gentleman. How are you, Chris?
Oh, you mean me? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I'm I'm great. I'm happy to be dry from my venture in the pond, and in some clean clothes. No, I don't know.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
great. I'm good. How
Good.
about you two?
We're good. We're good. As a matter of fact, do you know they really do jump into a real pond with leeches and everything for the way home?
Yeah, I
Swim.
talked to Kyler about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, because you shared some time together when you were in Kansas City.
Yeah,
Yes, jumping in and out of all degrees of weather.
yeah. I mean, I just hope that they get everything they need on the first try, so you don't have to go again.
No, that's true. So
Well, this
tell us before we get
conversation has
started,
been much anticipated.
what happened?
I said
What's
this
that?
conversation has been much anticipated.
I know, right? Well, I'm
About the
waiting for
pond?
people to pop in. Yeah, they're all jumping in at the same time, and it takes like a little. We have a little delay, so I always let people have a
Oh, there's
chance.
people talk. I can't see them. I guess that's for your eyes only.
No, actually, depend if you're on, I think, the same type of device I'm on. So on your right-hand side,
Oh, hide chat.
yes, there's
Show
chat.
chat.
That would be us talking to each other privately. And then there's comments. And then there's all the comments there. And we pick some and we put them across
Oh,
the screen.
oh, I see. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
They're all there right now, all 110 of them that are talking. Some there's probably more here, but they're all in the chat talking. That's a lot. But
Nice.
tell us what you've been doing as much as you want to share. We don't want to be too invasive since your little break from When Calls the Heart. What's been going on?
Well, I've just been doing dad stuff, I would say. I've been
Good.
busy with that,
Aw.
and it's been
And
great.
then
What's that?
nothing. I didn't say anything. I thought Kathy was going to say something. That was one of the things I was telling Kathy I wanted to ask you. As a new dad, what
Mhm.
would be some new dad advice that you would give to someone?
I
Anything.
would say just listen and meet them on their level and talk to them like a human being, not like a baby. Treat them like
Yes.
a real person. And
Yes.
that's what
Now,
I've tried to do, and I, it's going well so far. Knock on wood.
now, did you come up with that on your own? Is that something that your family, your parents did, or just it came naturally?
I don't remember how they interacted with me, my parents, when I was a kid. So I'm not sure. But my dad, yeah, I mean, I could see them. I could see that happening. But I think growing up for me, I always just got a bit personally irked when people would talk in a baby voice or a child voice
Yeah.
to a kid. So I just, from a young age, said to myself, I'm never going to do that,
Has
and
your,
I've followed through with it.
has your kiddo ever, not on purpose or inadvertently, seen you on the screen and gotten confused or anything?
She's come to work before, yeah, and it was fun. It was very cute. Excuse me. I had a bubbly drink. Now I have bubbles in my
That's
throat.
okay.
She's come to work and been like, oh, daddy, daddy, and then they go to the monitor at Video Village, and then I came on, and you can hear it. It's dad.
That's cute.
I'm like,
Oh,
shh. So then she had to go
That's
away for a
cute.
bit and go
That's
play outside until we were done. But no, she's not old enough to really be watching anything more than Moana and Nemo at this point.
Mm. So I'm a teacher. I think you might. I don't know if you
Mhm.
remember that. Like you
Yes,
have
I
to
do.
remember that. And I used to teach preschool first,
Oh, the
and
best.
I never talked to them as if they were little babies
Yeah.
because it annoyed me. However, I do talk to my dog that way, but
Yeah.
not.
I've got a little, I mean, I can understand that more.
Yeah.
I talk to my dog in all sorts of ways
Yeah.
without
Okay.
being.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, let's see some random things like we know you love music. So,
Mhm.
what's something you're listening to lately on repeat?
I've been listening to a lot of the album "The World Is a Ghetto" by War. Um, just sounds really great. I don't know.
I'm not laughing at you. Earlier, this is funny. Earlier, that Kathy was singing the ghetto song to me from Elvis Presley, and that's why I'm
Okay,
laughing at
okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I went on a trip recently with a friend of mine to Chicago because there is a big there's this big sort of audio convention that goes on there, and it's like really great and super nerdy, and I loved it. And all these really sort of prestigious companies from around the world get together, and they build up little sound rooms and in these hotel rooms, and so you can go and listen in all these listening rooms to all these different companies that you've heard about but maybe haven't gotten to see their gear in real life or listen to it. And while I was on that trip, my friend was saying he bought a new pair of headphones, and he was saying, "Oh, you got to listen to this track." And the track was "The World Is a Ghetto" by War, and I hadn't heard that song or album before, and so that was about a month ago, and it's just so well recorded, sounds fantastic, and I think it's been on almost every day at home. So I'd say that's what's going on lately at our place.
That's nice. Kathy's from Chicago.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. You could have
right
passed
on.
each other in the street, No, she
Yeah.
would have known.
I would have plotzed, but yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised to see that there's a Weber restaurant. I didn't know
Oh
that we
yeah.
were on the outskirts of Chicago. We weren't in the Chicago proper. We did go in a little bit for dinner one night, but yeah, I had no idea that there was a restaurant by Weber, and there was a big barbecue statue out front.
What
We had
suburb were you staying in?
Oh, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Starts with a
Hamburg?
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, not a walking town, I realized.
Not a walking town?
No, I think that's a driving town.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I went to the little corner market. It took me an hour round trip.
What?
I mean, I
Oh,
got some steps in, so that was good.
and that's because where you're located. You can walk all around, right?
Yeah,
Everything's
no, I think I'm used to walking, so it just didn't cross my mind not to.
yeah.
And yeah, I realized I was the only one. I was the only pedestrian as far as the eye could see.
That's kind of dangerous.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't. I'm just
I
thinking.
survived. I'm here.
You're here. You made it. You made it. So, before we start talking about any of all the wonderful movies that you've been making, and everybody's got an opinion about it, I wanted to tell you that I asked everyone what was their favorite character that you ever portrayed, and what do you think is their number one? Just out of curiosity, what do you think is their favorite one?
I would think Lucas, because I feel like he's the most interesting.
Yes.
And also because you get to spend the most time with that character. The
Getting
movie's
to-
only an hour and a half, and then they're done. But we've got plenty more than that of Lucas's adventures. But what's the
Absolutely.
answer?
It was hands down. It was like overwhelming. But like a large number of people also enjoyed the captain. What is it, Tom in Sailing into Love? That's like a favorite of theirs. There's
That
something
was
there.
that was probably the most fun I've had on a Hallmark movie. Was that
Really?
project? It was just we had really great weather and like a really great group of people, and we were filming it in Victoria, so we traveled a little bit but not too far, and it's such a beautiful, quaint, picturesque town. And then we were filming on this sailboat, and then we had drones, and I don't know, it just was like a very nice vibe, very low key. There wasn't a lot of stress, and we were in a beautiful, picturesque. I can't talk today, but you know what I'm
Yes,
trying
you
to say.
can.
It was just a good time. It was really nice.
Yeah.
So maybe that flowed through into Tom.
Look, that's it. You did a good job, I guess. They it's Captain Handsome, they say. Look, that's my favorite McNally movie. It's a lot of people. There it is. My favorite Captain Handsome. That's it. Oh, dear Lord.
That's very sweet.
Are
Does-
you able to walk around, Chris, with any amount of anonymity, or do you get stopped, or does it depend on where you are?
I have so much anonymity. Yeah, no, I hardly ever get stopped. Especially in spending a lot of time in Vancouver or in Los Angeles. When we're there, I think people in those cities are just so used to things being filmed and people around that they don't really pay attention or don't care, aren't as excitable as in some other places. So it's super, super rare that anybody ever says anything to me in those cities. If I'm traveling somewhere a little, I don't know, a little more rural or yeah, then I mean, occasionally, yeah, people will. I love it when they say Kevin McGarry.
Oh, geez.
They do say that to me, and that always cracks me up.
And what do you do?
I go, yes.
That's terrible. I don't like that.
No, I say no. I usually say that's really funny. I'm the other one. You know, the other tall, brown-haired guy, Chris.
No. The one minus the one that has a beard, because the other one does not.
It's true. Yeah. But yeah, you know what? It's really great because I think it would be quite frustrating if you know, you were stopped everywhere you went when you're just trying to get basic things done, like go grab some groceries
or go to a convention of audio stuff and just walk around and enjoy yourself and not get swamped.
Yeah, there was a lot of men in their 60s at that convention, and turns out they don't watch When Calls the Heart.
Well done.
Yeah.
Or if they did, they were just so focused on these beautiful speakers that they didn't realize. No, I'm kidding. I did meet one person at that convention who was working there who watched When Calls the Heart, and she was very sweet. She was like, "Oh my God, I wasn't expecting
you."
Yeah.
Well, then she doesn't know you very well, because you always talk about sound and how you love to hear the sound of things, and it takes on something different when the audio is better. I remember you explained that in one of your interviews in great detail, and then everybody else was like, I'm going to upgrade my sound system now.
Oh, really? Well, I'm happy to help, you know, fuel that trend, because it's sort of like fine dining, but for your ears.
Yes.
We focus on taste a lot when we're and enjoying great tastes, but I feel like a lot of times sound is sort of, it's background music, or it's while we're driving or whatever, but sitting down and critically listening to something just doesn't happen as much these days. And so yeah, it's a fun hobby, and it's really, once you hear it, you can't really go back. So I'm addicted to it. I love it. And my daughter is too, which I'm very proud of. Speaking of dad things, super happy that she gets to choose every day of the week. There's a busy bee, right? One of the students gets to be the teacher's helper and help organize the class and run things a little bit. And they always get to bring something in for show and tell. And she wanted to bring in her record. She has a Moana record that her aunt gifted her. So she brought her record in, a little record brush, and she explained to the class how you take it out and how you only hold it on the outsides, don't touch the grooves, and this is how you flip it over, and you put it on, and you put the clamp on, and then you turn it on, and then you get the brush, and you hold it over, and you take it, and then you take the needle, and you drop the needle.
It's a real.
And the other kids were like, "There's music on that?"
I know.
Oh, what is it?
I know. That's wild. I love it.
It's a real record. If you have
a Moana picture disc.
Oh, it's a disc. Okay.
No, it's a vinyl. It's a vinyl record. Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah. She puts it on.
I thought that was a lost art.
Oh, it's coming back.
I have Harry Styles on vinyl because
How
I
does
love
it
Harry
sound?
Styles, but I've never opened it or breathed on it or touched it. It's just.
Are you afraid to, or you just want to keep it in perfect condition for resale? Or
well, I have nothing to play it on. So,
okay.
Okay. And so I'm just not going to open it until that day happens.
Understood.
Yeah. I got it for my birthday. He happened to be in concert on my birthday when I turned 50. And so that was like all part of the package, which was nice.
And you must be, I'm assuming you're a very big fan.
Very much so. Like obsessed.
A fitting gift.
Yes, it was a fitting gift. Kind of stalker obsessed, but not, because he lives so far away. I can't really stalk him. So
it doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count.
Right on. I like that logic.
Not at all. Right, Kathy? It doesn't count, right? You can't stalk Chris either, right? Because you're so...
Although, I got to say, I'm very creative, so you never know.
Yes, you got to be careful. She is.
You
all right.
Screenshot just, as you're going through Schaumburg, like, keep an eye out.
I will. The danger in Schaumburg is Kathy.
There you go.
Understood.
So we didn't have an opportunity. It was funny. I was on the list. Cynthia had She was the person in charge of Tip Line. And I actually got to meet her, and she had never met some of your co-stars. So she came into my podcast in the studio to get to meet them. And then, we hosted,
Yeah.
and you were on the list, but for whatever reason, you went to Suspenders Unbuttoned. They sent you there instead of with me. And I had a whole list of questions, but I'm not going to ask all those questions.
Have they been asked already?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that why?
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but just some are a little different. But one of the things I wanted to tell you that was really cool about this. So when it was released, first of all, it was different, something different. You're known for liking to do different things, not always the same, which your fans appreciate tremendously.
Yeah.
And I went on and I was like, oh goodness, I don't have Hallmark movies now. So I had to go and get it because that's where it was released first. So we went and took to Twitter or X, and we did our hashtag for it. And I send these stuff to your peeps so they could see, and we got it to trend. It was crazy. It was trending, like your name, we even had like some of the directors, because it was a mother-daughter team, they participated. So
really? Oh, that's
yes,
great.
but then when it went months later and they released it on the Hallmark channel, we did it again. They did it again, all over again. And you're trending. You trend all of the time. So we get your name to trend. And then there's always a cool hashtag. And this is just a fun fact. And I have all the data to prove it if anybody needs it. And so does our members. And I send it on to your people. Every time When Calls the Heart is on, you have the highest trending numbers. You are even higher sometimes than the official Hearties. That is how much people are out there like, what, Lucas Bouchard? And they come up with really cool, fun things too.
Well, that's great. That's great. I mean, thanks for all that hard work.
Yes, because we want the character of Lucas to, like, we want people to know how much we love the character of Lucas. Except Kathy loves the character of Lucas from afar because she's mad and won't watch anymore. You remember that, right?
You haven't watched. What's the last thing you watched? Train station?
With you and Aaron at the train station. That was pretty much my my threshold. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen clips or anything from what's happened since then?
Nope. And it's not it's not even that I've got this hatred for the show or anything. It's not that. I just, maybe when the show goes off the air years and years and decades from now, I'll, depending on how it turned out, I may go back and watch it. But right now, I just don't have the trust. I mean, they pulled the rug out from under me, I feel like. And so I need to reestablish that trust.
I understand that.
I know I probably need a therapist, but I just got so invested in that storyline, and it was just like, what the heck?
Well, I'm glad it spoke to you in that way.
It really did.
You in that way.
A lot of people. Yeah.
Not the opposite of Lucas, but you do a great job of Lucas. You do a great job playing the leads in the Hallmarks, but I really, really enjoy your work when you're like Cal Dennison, when you're doing, From Heaven. Do you seek out kind of the darker parts, the being the bad boy, and do you enjoy doing those or
That's funny. That's a long time. I thought I was going to get fired on that job for sure, playing Cal.
What? No, you were really good.
Oh man, well, I'm glad you thought, because on the inside I was absolutely crumbling. I just was really, really nervous. That was the first job I got that had it was the most responsibility, I'll say, that I had on a job up to that point. And I thought that I was going to be okay, and then I got there and I was just totally melting down inside. A lot of anxiety, so much so that I felt like, this isn't going to go so well, because you guys get to see the final thing. You don't see that there's 8 takes later and they're still trying to get me to do something, and they only had time for 2 takes. And I'm like, oh God, I'm not going to be asked back tomorrow. They're going to have to reshoot all this. But anyway, they didn't. It's fine.
Come across for sure. Yeah.
But that was a stressful one for me. But I like that kind of stuff. I enjoy stretching all kind of, just as far as the jobs will allow me to. I'm grateful and fortunate that Hallmark reaches out every so often and says, we have a script that we'd like you to come on board if it works for you. And they are all of the rom-com, genre. And so I find myself doing the majority of my work so far has been in that. So when something else comes along that falls into place that's different, I get really excited about it because I enjoy it. That's why I like this business, is playing different characters and just exploring different things and getting invested in different things. And so Cal was a lot of fun, except for all the nerves. And what else has been? Well, Tip Line was great because that was modern current day setting, playing a detective, which was great. And then
Pink Ladies was kind of a stretch. I didn't.
Oh, Pink Ladies, yeah.
I didn't think you were a bad guy in that, but
Well, I didn't either. Well, I mean, what's his name? Daniels. Leonard Daniels didn't think he was a bad guy from the outside, but he had to authentically be in love with this 16-year-old. So that's the way I approached it. Right? Was like, I think a lot of people maybe went in. There were specific notes saying, like, in capitals, I think it was saying something like, "He is not a creep," or "Don't play him as a creep," or something like that. Because I think when people hear, well, teacher, and he's had a fling with a student, obviously we're going to put that creepy vibe on him. But I tried to approach it like, this is a man where it's same as Cal, actually. If the worldview wasn't subjected onto them, his feelings for this person are authentic and truthful. He is in love with them. It's just when you take a step back and you look at society, you say, well, that's not really inappropriate. You're not allowed to do that. But for him, in his mind, he's like, no, it's true. It's true love. So that was
in that era.
Well, yeah, and with Grease,
yeah. Different from today. I mean, still,
Barry.
Yeah. Which I would say is a very good thing.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy, playing all kinds of different things.
We love that. We love that there's diversity because it's fun and we get to see you in all different ways. It actually speaks to your talent. Some people just can't do it, but you do. And I don't want to say pull it off, because it's more than pull it off. I mean, I didn't see anything, no nerves. If anything, I felt like in heaven, it was like the character was almost vulnerable, like almost as much as a victim as some of the other characters were, because you were like, I don't know, crazy circumstances. A lot of psychological stuff was going on in that movie. I read all the books, so.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
This was a while ago now. I think I filmed that 7 or 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little foggy in my memory. I might be getting some of this wrong, but from what I recall, he is sort of a prisoner in that house along with the girl. So they're both. It's an odd situation and circumstance. So there is, I think, a vulnerability and it's sort of a state of victimization within that. It's a layered scenario, that one.
Yeah. Well, all of the books were like that as well. So I think they did a great job with the series. I liked it. Judy says, I loved because we had started to talk about Tip Line. I love Tip Line and how aggravated Dawson got with Maddie.
She liked how aggravated he got?
Yes. Now, one of the things that I enjoyed was when I had the mom and daughter team on, and they were talking about they filmed it, they said, and so that there could be another one and another one and another one, right?
Yeah.
Right? We want more. We're going to say that. How do you feel about that? You want another one?
Yeah, I would do more. Okay. Absolutely. Good. I'd love to.
I think it would be great. Even if they were trying to find a spot. I'm a big fan of Hallmark Plus, and they have little series on there. They could do like 6 episodes. Like, I'm planning your career here for you. And
hey, I'm all for it. I would be there. Yeah. And Holland is really great. She's funny and down to earth and just a good human being. And I really liked working with the directors on that and the producer. It was a good team too. And it's so much fun to play something, play the detective for once and run around
I know.
chasing people and solving things. So I am 100% into continuing with that should the opportunity present itself.
So there was something else that I enjoyed with that character, and that was that you had this like dry, subtle, like facial expressions and the things that you said, which were humorous to us, as the
Yeah,
viewer. And that was great. I mean, I remember like talking about the detective that needed to go, he needed to retire,
right.
and how you're like, and just in general, like when you got frustrated, it wasn't a meanness. It was, I don't know, it was great writing, great acting. It was great. But you also were very much the stunt man. You were like running, they said everywhere, and you worked so hard in the running. They kept it in as much as they could.
I did. I trained a little bit for that because I was having knee problems, and I mean, I couldn't really even jog half a block without getting
Right.
some intense pain in my knee. So I
Wow.
tried to. I had been working out prior to getting that job in order to strengthen my knee and try and fix it. But then this job came up, and I'm going, oh man, okay, here's an opportunity to test if this has been effective or not. And so I slowly started implementing jogging and speeding up and speeding up and speeding up into sprinting into my workouts, and it was, my knee was holding up and it was doing all right. Um, and then I think one of the days where we had the longest running scene, it was a night shoot, and it was probably, I don't remember what time, at least midnight or something, and it was cold and pouring rain, and I'd been told to keep warm and to stretch beforehand and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, I will. But then all of a sudden we were up on the shot and moving. We had to go right away, and I just went for it. And I sprinted, and I hurt myself.
Oh my
my,
gosh.
my poor hamstring on the first take, either rehearsal or first take, my hamstrings went, oh no, but the adrenaline was kind of covering it. So I did take after take after take after that, knowing like this is just getting worse and worse. And it took quite a while, I think, to to feel better. But I'm glad that they kept some of it in. But what's funny? As fast as you're running, when you're doing that, and then you watch it on the camera and it just looks slow, it's kind of defeating because you're really moving on the day. But there's just something about it.
Do they slow it down?
No, they don't slow it down. It's just, I think it's just hard for the camera to capture that speed. Not that I'm going like a rocket or anything, but yeah, it's just this optic. It's just, some of it is lost. Your eye, I think that's what it is. That your eye can recognize the speed different than the camera does. So when you look at it, the naked eye, and when you look at it through a camera, there's a shift, and it
That's
just doesn't
true.
go as fast when you're
That
watching
is
the
true.
lens.
Yeah. From working on doing so much like virtual with the pandemic and everything, it does crazy. It's like a message to your brain, and it does crazy things.
Yeah.
It actually makes me a little nauseous sometimes.
Are you feeling sick right now?
A little bit, but that's because I have a new prescription. That's all. Just
That'll do it.
I'll be fine. I'll muster through, right, Kathy?
We always do.
Yes, we do. She makes fun of me because the last time I was Monday, my new glasses, I threw out my glasses accidentally and they didn't come. So I had an old pair and they were broken and I didn't say anything, but they were like that. And so
He looked drunk.
she had to point it out to everyone.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Well, I don't want them to think you were tippling during the podcast.
I know, but I wasn't. And we were laughing, having a good time. We were having like a what was it? Trivia for the way home we were doing, which is a fan page for them. So
that's a good show.
It really is.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you'll have a guest appearance on it one day. You never
If they
know.
ask, or an opportunity presents itself, take for it. I would. I haven't. How many seasons are out? 2?
3.
Yeah. Okay. I think I can't remember if I've seen the first 1 or 2. But it's an emotional story. It's watch it, I'm like,
it's so good. Yeah, you do have to watch it because one of the most emotional scenes ever is in towards the end of season 3. Oh my gosh, it's really good. I don't want to say any more than that in case there are people here that want to watch or you want to.
All right.
Yes. So let's go. We're gonna tread carefully here because we've got people
where are we going?
we're going to switch a little bit into When Calls the Heart, but season 11. We're going to talk about season 11 a little bit.
Okay, Kathy, earmuffs.
No, she's good. She's good. So she's going to behave. All right. So you're in my mind, and I pay attention to details. Your background story was not what we got to see in season 11. It was different. It was new. They took a different twist and turn with it. Some of it I didn't appreciate, but that's just me. But I enjoyed the interaction that you had, although Jeanette was not, I expected her to look that way. And I had the opportunity to meet the actress. She was lovely, but not for her to behave that way. But one of the things that I loved was, and I don't know if it was written into the script, and that's what I want to know from you, or if it's something you did, was even though there was supposed to be bad parts of her and your relationship together, I love how you didn't like the way they made, not you or whatever, they made Lucas approach her when she had the gun, and he scoops her in and he holds her like he has compassion for her, but here she's trying to shoot up the place. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember the scene I'm talking about?
Yep. Yeah.
Is that the way it was scripted, or is that something that you felt, or do you want to talk about any of it?
I think that was scripted, that Lucas approaches her and is sort of testing her in that way. He knows, or very much hopes that he's right and that she will fold.
Right.
And that seems to be the clearest way forward for him at that point, is to offer her compassion and listen and have her come into his arms and in order to disarm her.
Right.
And I think they had, well, as you mentioned, a new past that we discovered in season 11, but that is a complex one. And I feel like there was a scene that was cut. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I don't remember. But after he takes the gun and after the action all subsides and she's leaving, Lucas says to Jeanette, "Why did you?" Was that still in it? Do you remember that part?
I think it was. Go ahead.
Why did you come back? You could have stayed and been none the wiser.
Yeah.
And she's like, "It was always you," or something like that. So she had a soft spot for that for Lucas. I don't know why I thought that was kind of. It was scripted.
Okay. So, but we got that all along anyway. We always knew that was her obsession. Like even the way they made her have a conversation with Elizabeth. You know, like how like she poked at Elizabeth. You could see.
She's a good poker, isn't she?
Yeah.
She knows how to push all the right buttons.
I know. What I loved I actually laughed out loud. I love that Allie, one of the writers, she was looking at the set and finding different places and different ways to shoot, which was amazing.
I'm glad they did that.
Yes, but there's the one area where you get in the car with Jeanette and drive away, and then you get out and walk back.
Yes.
And what you say to her, I cracked up laughing. But we got a great view. We never got that view from there before, the way the path the car was going. But the lines that you had for her were kind of like snarky, but I don't know. For me, I laughed. I laughed out loud. I liked the two of you together, and I wished that she wasn't such a baddie, because I liked the two of you together, And there was a little bit of talk about her character in the next season, and I was like, wonder if that's like a little tidbit, maybe down the road, and in season 294, now she'll come back. You never know.
Never say never.
I know. Carrie is so that you have a fan page because your whole family's on it, and
my
Carrie
is on it. Is that
this. Your mother and your sister and an uncle and a cousin, they're all on it.
I did not know that.
Chris, we talked about it before. How can you not remember?
I know that my mom pays attention.
Yeah.
But that was as far as I thought it went.
Yeah, your sister's there, your uncle, your cousin. Yes. You got a whole family on there. Anyway, Carrie is one of our new admins. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
Besides Christina, which she is so excited. She wrote somewhere in the comments, "Thank you so much for the letter that you put a little note to her when they were
Oh
out."
yeah, I'm glad that was received.
Yes,
Yeah, that
and
was hastily written at Kansas City. I think that got a little wild.
that's okay. We're going to
There's a
talk
lot
about
of people.
hold that thought for a second. We're going to talk about it.
All right.
But and she framed it. Oh, please. She
Oh,
loved
that's
it.
very
I
cute.
think she put it under her pillow and her husband's like, "What is this? Go put that in a frame." Actually, her husband is lovely and is extremely supportive of her, like everything that all the time that she dedicates. So you got him there too as your fan. So
Great.
he's a big fan too. Rob is his name.
Okay,
Anyway,
that makes me feel a little safer.
Carrie says, didn't expect Jeanette to try to unalive Lucas twice. Twice, right?
Well, the first time, are you talking about the flashbacks?
Well, you got
Right? Because
you were
but
injured,
that
and then
she
again,
didn't want me to be unalived that point. That was what's his name going too far.
yeah,
That
yeah,
wasn't her intention. And
right.
then yeah, the second time, I mean, she did threaten it herself and was pretty serious about it, but he called her bluff.
Now, this is a question for me that I always wanted to ask. I was curious. You, because by the way, more than half, 75% of these questions are people flooding my emails and sending me messages on Facebook. Ask him this, ask him this, ask him that. I'm like, okay, I got it all settled here. So I was curious about this. In season 11, if you can remember, you're really mad on Rosemary and everyone and what went out on the newspaper, and you come in and you take the jacket off and you put it like slap it on there and I'm like, wow, we got like range of emotion here. I wanted to know, did you do that yourself or was that scripted? Tell me you did it yourself.
That was not scripted. What was scripted was something along the lines of Lucas enters his office. He's got the newspaper and it says something like he's at the peak of his crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And so I read that and thought, okay, so this is in his journey, this is his 10 out of 10 situation. And so I'm going to push into that. And I felt like tearing the newspaper was just kind of represented an externalization of what was happening to him inside. So I wanted to shred it, but I also felt like I was hot and I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
So I ripped the jacket off and then slammed it. And actually, you know, it's funny. I don't know how many times we might have done that 4 times, and I broke a chair, I think, each time because I slammed the jacket down. They're old chairs, mind you, they're very old, but the jacket ripped the back off of the chair. And they all had to be glued back together. But I didn't think a jacket could do like, there must be very old, dusty chairs. These guys have been around for a long time.
God.
But yeah, each time I'd look at it, they go, cut, and I look down at the chairs, but I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. No, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. We'll get another chair, and then we do it again. Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, it's okay, we'll get another chair.
That's funny, actually. I like that because I was like, I was so authentic, and I was like, yes, like because we were getting a little tired of every time you turn around, something was happening to Lucas, and I was so glad that you were like, you know, you had at one point said, oh, I would like to see him lose everything, and I felt like saying because you're losing too much now. We fans do not want to see that anymore, so
Right.
we like seeing your frustration. Although
I went farther in that one too, but they didn't use the farthest take. Farthest one, I think I took my jacket off and then I screamed into it like a muffled guttural scream, and then I ripped the paper up. I think they were like, "That's a little too far."
Oh,
So they didn't use that one.
that's all right.
All these years, and you know, you're all these years of playing Lucas. Do you feel vested? I mean, do you feel like you know Lucas more than the writers may know him? Or do you ever have to fight for the integrity of the character? You know what I mean? Like the way you play a scene or the way you display emotion. Do you ever just not decide, do you ever feel like you have a better handle on that than the writers?
Yeah. What I've done is I go back and I usually before each season, I will reread every scene that Lucas has been involved in, and I'll also write down things that are said about him by other people, or things that he's said, and so I have a list in my notes of basically laying down structurally who he is and what decisions he's made and what he's been through and what his past has been. And there are times when new information comes to light, right, that sort of shifts things, which can be challenging, but also presents different opportunities. But yeah, there has been times in the past where we're standing here and we need to get here, and the route that has been written, I disagree with in terms of what Lucas's choices are to get there, and I do see a path to get to that endpoint that is in line with the character. And so conversations like that have taken place, and sometimes I find that there's some shifts are made, and other times they're not. So yeah, we do the best we can. I don't know if that makes sense. And everybody has a lot on their plate and a job to do. It's a big machine, and so it's a tough balancing act. And then you said Hallmark watches this. Be careful what I say here.
No. They watch me, like everything I say. It's okay. Say
Well, because there are times where
be comfortable.
there have been times in the past where I feel like I have silently to myself decided, it seems like on the page what they're asking for is this. That doesn't align with me. I am going to take an alternate approach and see if anybody tells me not to. And I will
Okay.
take my alternate approach, and if nobody says, hey, can we do it? I think we need to do it this way, then great. So I do navigate that way when I feel it's necessary. And then other times there's only so much you can do. But yeah, I do think I know him very well. Although I am learning new things about him every time we get a new season.
Yeah, we all are. Jean's saying knowing your character so well makes you a great actor because you
Oh,
like
thanks, Steve.
read them. It's like someone had written something. I had every intention of showing it to you, but then I forgot to load it up. Oh my gosh, I might have a copy of it. Somebody wrote something beautiful about your acting. I think I have a copy. I'll share.
Sure.
But yes,
Thanks.
and I'll share that in a minute. But or later, whatever. I like what
Let's-
Jean just said. Knowing your
Yeah,
character so well makes you a great actor.
I
We love
agree, because knowing your character means that you need to be specific.
yeah.
And yeah, and that specificity is, I think, what leads to interesting choices and interesting characters,
Yeah.
and yeah, it just kind of expands from there. You're more invested in a character that has specificity, when we're just all kind of like a random brushstroke across.
Right.
That's just boring in my mind. So
Right.
The other thing that makes
that's
you a
very
great
important.
actor
What's
is
that, Kathy?
and
Say
the
it
other
again.
thing that makes you a great actor is, in my opinion, is being willing to take chances to go out and play roles that aren't from the cookie cutter. I mean, you're a decent looking guy, let's face it. So you could probably spend the rest of your life just doing, romantic comedies and Hallmark and that, but you go out and you look at a Cal Dennison and the role of the Pink Ladies. And I personally like the darker, more nuanced roles where it's not just black and white. It's not just good or just bad. I love those kinds of characters. And I really appreciate the fact that you go out and you're not afraid to explore those. I think it's fabulous.
Thanks, Kathy. And I like those same characters too. I like characters that live in the gray.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Altered Carbon? How could you forget that? That was something different, right?
That was that was fun. That I didn't know what Altered Carbon was, and I was trying to get into theater school. I wanted to go to Juilliard, and I'd gone to New York, and my audition there was in a couple days, and I was working on my monologues, and then this self-tape came through, and I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't have time for this. I was trying to go to theater school. And then I found somebody randomly on Craigslist or something like that that had a taping studio. Looking back, I'm like, that was probably not the safest thing to do. But I went to some person's apartment and they put me on tape, and I did it a couple of times. I wasn't really thinking about it, and then went back and focused on my monologues. And then a couple months later, I got a call that job went through, and I didn't get into theater school, so I was able to do the job.
Yeah, that's okay. Yes, which is good. I know you had to sing too in your audition, didn't you?
I did, yeah, which isn't my forte. They
I
stopped me
know.
real quick. They're like, "Great, here's."
Oh, yes. If I'm not
Yeah, so
mistaken, I think you picked a challenging song. You didn't think it was challenging, but it is challenging. It
I sang
was.
something from Bon Iver,
Yeah, it was something challenging.
I think, and then I also had some Bill Withers. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a while ago now, but
Oh. See, you
it's great.
stretched yourself.
We were, yeah, just saw some great shows in New York last week, and that was a nice reminder of just characters like you're saying that are not
Yeah.
black and white, right? That
Yeah.
play in the gray, and just really inspiring performances. And yeah, it was awesome.
Now, because of the way things turned out in season 10,
Yeah.
people were like crazy. So I agreed to, on Sunday nights, host what we call the Lucas Bouchard Fireside Chats. And we talk only right after the episode. So it's cold. I mean, it's like hot. Like you don't even have a minute to think. Like I don't have a minute to think. So we get in. That's why I'm like with a fan, and I fan myself because sometimes I'm fan myself because it was a delicious scene. And sometimes I'm fan myself because I'm aggravated. And that's the fireside. People are like, we thought we were going to see a fireplace. I'm like, no, it's me.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if there's time for marshmallows.
Yes. Okay.
Roasting marshmallows and discussing.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. I haven't done that yet. I usually do tea of some sort.
Okay.
Anyway, it's late on Sundays and we have all these chats, and that's all they do is talk. We only talk about your character, your scene and scenes in that particular episode. And I have to tell you, they're like my most popular podcasts. People
Oh,
are still watching those because they have all their comments and whatnot. So we do that for you.
well, thanks for hosting that. Thanks for putting that together.
Yeah.
It must be a late night for you, because what time does it air East Coast?
It's at 10 o'clock when I do it. So I arrive in my pajamas. I do it in my jammies. Yeah. Yeah. But it's a good time. It's a good time for people to vent. So if you ever have a minute and you want to see some of this stuff, they're very honest. They're very honest.
All right.
Like I said, Hallmark watches everything that I say. And the thing that we want for you is we need for Lucas Bouchard to have more screen time. We actually write down the screen minutes. Like we clock and we're like, he needs more screen time. And the other thing too is this. I'm okay, and you're not have to speak to this. This is me talking. I'm okay with taking something small and making it bigger, like as something from the past, but not when it's so the opposite direction of a character. Not when you as a viewer have invested so many years and could list who your mother is and what your father was like and how you'd wait forever and how all the character, and then flip it. And then you get upset because the people who flip it don't even know the character. And that shows. It comes across the screen to us. And that's why some people are like so mad and angry. But we appreciate how you've been handled.
Perhaps.
What? Say it again.
I said like Kathy, perhaps.
Yes. But we appreciate.
It was the fact that it's like they took me for granted. Like, oh, she'll buy it because, they're such big fans. She's such a big fan, she'll buy it. I just didn't like the cut of their jib when they pulled that. It was a bridge too far for me.
Yeah.
No,
and now before, I wanted to ask you just a few things of season 12, and then we have a few more, and then we'll wrap up because you've been so gracious with your time. We've been here for, how long have we been here? I'm trying to look. We've been here a while. Oh, almost an hour. So everybody's like, more screen time, more screen time. One of the things I wanted to say, like, we'll talk about Lucas before season 11, okay? Or before 10, okay, actually. Yeah. Okay, I have to say this in a way that doesn't come out like risque. All right, so here's the thing. Lucas and Elizabeth had such, you two as actors, nobody can tell you different. And you have all these people here that will tell you this. You light up the screen. Like, you two have chemistry, the two of you, and the two of you are great on screen TV kissers. Like, your kisses are like delicious. Like, yeah, they are. And here's the thing, there's the beautiful scene of you in the rain in the car. The bridge is like
bridge.
it.
The
And
Did you like the bridge scene?
oh
There's
my,
a lot of debate that went into how to shoot that.
it was beautiful how it went. It was like,
Okay.
and
It was
it was like, yes, it was everything. And then also the chair, that's the little chair that you
The
both had.
chair in the office, the little
Yes.
settee, whatever it's called.
Yes, and the
For
whisper
1.5
talking.
people.
Yes. But here's the thing, that this is the part that's risque. The most skin that we've ever seen of Lucas is recently when you put up your sleeves to help with the
Right.
roping, right? Yes. Okay. Yet your scenes are extremely like I don't know, soulful and sultry. But recently they decided to show way more skin of certain people,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't come off with the same chemistry as you two.
And that's because there wasn't the chemistry. They had to show us it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get started, but you know what, Chris? Not just you and Elizabeth. That broke my heart. But also the chemistry and the relationship you had with little Jack. I mean, that touched my heart so much.
Oh, you were good with him.
Yeah, how good you were with him, and what a family unit you had created. I will never forgive the powers that be that decided that wasn't the way to go.
You two were fantastic together. So don't say anything. You don't have to say anything. But in your mind, your fans, here's what happened. Your fans were not united in speaking out. And then when all that happened, we had a conversation, a large group of us, and we said, you know what? You got to take to Twitter or X, and you got to put this hashtag in. And so we kind of educated ourselves, and they come out in droves for you now. And I'm telling you, you got, like, they're out there speaking their opinion, where I think they were only looking at a certain part of the audience.
Sure.
Just going to tell you that. But anyway, I want you to know that you did a great job. The two of you were electric. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
I feel like those scenes, especially the one in the office, there was a lot of really beautiful subtext that was written into that, which is important. And I think that's what heats those scenes up, when you have strong subtext, but a physicality that can't. It would be inappropriate to act on it in that moment, but you feel that tension, and so you have this beautiful contradiction, and you feel for both of these characters and what they're pining for, but understand why they're withholding, and then you get that fire and that heat. And so I think that it just shows how important subtext is, and that sometimes there's more of it than others in things that we watch. So let's hope for more subtext in the future.
This one says, never watched the show, and I love the bridge scene. So isn't that cute? Because people have copied it, made videos of it. It's all over the place. It's like, it's all over.
Well, the debate on the bridge scene was should it happen slowly or fast, and because there's the building of tension, right? And so if the characters slowly approach themselves or approach each other on the bridge and try and build even more tension before they finally have a kiss. But then I know that Aaron and I felt like we've been building this tension for years and years, and this is a climactic moment where, rather than continuing it on, let's say that the tension has been developed and has reached its breaking point, and let's have a boom moment and run it together like that and see what happens. And we were met. I mean, I think both opinions, I understand both perspectives, and it was talked about quite a bit, and then we ended up doing the fast version. And so it's just nice to hear. I think both versions would have resonated with people, but I wasn't sure. After that, I started second guessing. I'm like, oh, was I wrong? Was that not the right choice? I don't know. But
No, it was the
It was
best.
the right
then I'm happy to hear that.
It was amazing. The
Okay.
vows that you two share when you come back from the race, when Lucas comes back from the race that he loses, and the two of you are sitting there, like that was beautiful. It's just we miss it. It was so good.
Perfectly crafted.
And losing the Lucas and Little Jack relationship was so heartbreaking for me. I think it could have continued. It could have continued. You are his buddy. You could have still had more of. You could have, but
yeah, that's something I pitched for and advocated for. But there's only so much time. I also thought it would be funny if Lucas did continue or tried to press on with that, because it could create a fun for me to play tension between Lucas and Nathan. Nathan's like, hey, you're kind of stepping on my toes here, and my role is and Luke's like, well, I'm his buddy, and I'm going to continue being his buddy.
I love that. That would have been great.
I thought that could be fun. We'll see if I don't know if it'll happen or not. But.
In the back of my mind, I've always thought it'd be really cool if Little Jack, as he reaches adolescence and early teenage years, he finds himself gravitating more toward Lucas and looking to Lucas as a role model more than.
Well, that would really piss Nathan off.
I know, right?
So I'm all for it.
All right. I like it. All right. So season 12, we're not going to talk a whole lot about it because we got a few more things to talk about, but it was different, very different. And me personally.
What happened? I wasn't there very much.
You weren't.
That was a joke.
I know. Me personally, I am so.
Neither was I, Chris. I wasn't there.
I'm so enjoying the new character of Edie. I had the chance of meeting her and chatting with her. Great. And I like knowing, because I've listened to your other interviews, that you were part of the decision. And I'm not quite sure. I'm not going to quote you on this, but tell me. You said one of the things that drew, because you said they were all good that auditioned in a different way, but what drew you to her was that she acts with her eyes, like expression on her face, that kind of thing. Do you remember saying that or no?
It was something within her eyes when we were doing our tape that I just that connected in a way that, I mean, not that I don't want to say that there was, not insinuating there wasn't strong connections in the other tests, but there was just something about Miranda's eyes when she was playing Edie that that hit me on the inside, which I felt was really strong. So when I was asked what my thoughts were, I said I really felt something coming from Miranda and Edie, and I think I mean, you never really know if that's going to translate on screen or not.
It does,
because I've had conversations with with actors that have said, just reflected on how they have had the most kind of just so much palpable chemistry on the day, and then watch the cut of it and it feels flat and like there's nothing. And then other people they've worked with where there's no chemistry, and then they watch it and it's like sparks are flying off the screen. They're like, I don't understand it. That was somebody on Altered Carbon who I respected. I remember him saying that, and I was like, that's really interesting. I'm gonna remember that for the future. But anyways, so I'm glad that you say it does, because that's
it does.
I felt some chemistry with Miranda.
Yes. And I think, in my opinion, if actors feel that, they're going to bring it. Like I see it. I love it. I like that it's not a big rush into, a whole new romance, but there's like little hints, and you could tell that she's just with her eyes and how she looks up at Lucas and the little things that they say. I mean, love it. What says Miranda is amazing, and she almost talks with her eyes, and that's what you do. There's one thing that we pointed out one time where there were no words spoken, and I think I told you this before, at all with Mr. Leonard. And he's walking in Greece, and you're walking across, like, it's night. I guess, what is it, where they eat lunch or out and where everybody's out in the courtyard, and your eyes follow
Mm.
her and her eyes follow you. And there's like this whole language that's spoken right there. And that's something you're very, very good at doing.
Well, I
Like,
appreciate that. I wish
yeah.
they'd let us do more of that on Hallmark, but if you're not talking, you're not on screen.
Terrible. So, um, we love you roping the calf. I know you ripped your
Mm,
pants and all of that.
yeah.
Wasn't there a stunt double somewhere in there walking off behind in the
Oh
background?
yeah, there was, and he was phenomenal because one of the there was two calves. One was wild and one was bottle fed, and they were kind of gonna, try and get the best of both worlds. When we have to be close with them, we'll use the bottle fed one. When we're trying to run, we'll have the wild one, and the wild one took off and did not want to come back, and he roped it from about
Oh
40
my
feet away.
gosh.
It was really impressive. I mean, I was practicing on a steel statue of a cow for a couple afternoons, and I was having trouble with that, and watching him rope this calf live, it was really cool.
Now, I remember Miranda saying that they zero in on her expression of like awe when you rope him,
Yeah.
or she said that's because for real she felt in awe because you did it on the first take.
Yeah, I think everyone was surprised.
Yeah, you did it, and you ripped your pants. Hola!
Yes, I did. I mean, the cow was pretty close. It was, I think more than anything, I was stressed out about everybody that's watching because there's so many people that you can't see, right?
Yep.
They're there with us, just not in the view of the camera. So, oh man, I have to try and get this guy, and if I don't get it, then I'm gonna get stressed out, and then I'm gonna spiral down and start sweating and get hot, and then I'm gonna just implode because that's what I do. That's a little view into my brain, but it worked out. I got the calf, and I was happily surprised, and so was everybody else.
You know what? Speaking about that, I mean, you did a great job. You are too hard on yourself, but are you going to recognize that, you think, as a parent? I'm not mean to be in a rude way. As a
Yeah.
teacher, I recognize certain things I have, and I could see children when it's the way I handle stuff, and I could see them
Yeah.
in their quiet little corner melting down or what their little tick is or whatever.
Yeah.
So I tried to help them with coping mechanisms. Um, are you like hypersensitive and watching your little girl, making sure she doesn't have that kind of a reaction and helping her? Like, you think what you do to help yourself, you might share with her, or are you just passing that on to mom?
No, I do my best to try and create, um, maybe the safest or most understandable, I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes sense,
Yeah. Yeah.
environment. There are times, of course, when when we as parents are very stressed out and you're already 15 minutes late and you don't have as much room to
I
like
know. Yeah.
allow, so
Yes.
it's not every time, but when possible, for sure. Yeah, but she's also way more confident than I ever was. She's like,
I love that. That's good.
she doesn't
That's
need me or mom. She's like, bye.
That's cute. That's sweet. So when I teach, I have a partner. There's two of us. It's and it's male, female. So we're very much like mom and dad, and we approach things. We have the same philosophy on how to handle the kids. Like, if you break a rule, this is what we both face it that way.
Yeah.
But I handle things differently, and he does too. And we work as a team. And sometimes if a student reacts too much like I do,
Uh-huh.
I can't handle it. He does. So I was just curious, especially with anxiety, because anxiety can stop you from doing something that you absolutely love, even though in your
Yeah,
mind you so want to do it, right?
I
Yeah.
totally agree. She hasn't shown any signs of anxiety, which I
Yeah.
find really fascinating.
That's good. That's a good
Yeah, she not yet anyway. I mean, I'll keep an eye out for it, but
yeah.
no, there's not a lot of fear there. It's just 100% commitment to whatever. But what I have found interesting is, and I know kids are different, and if there's a problem with this method that you know of, please tell me. But she's very independent, so using that sort of against her in terms of if it's time to brush your teeth and she says no and she runs away and doesn't want to brush, I say, well, I'm going to come get you in 3 seconds and I'm going to bring you into the bathroom. So if you would like to go to the bathroom yourself, you have to do it
Mhm.
before I get to 3. And then every time, as soon as I hit 3, she's like, I'm coming. and she runs and she's not upset about it. She's happy, but it's because I know that she's going to want to do it herself. So that drive is so strong in her that if I ever give her the ultimatum of, well, you can do it yourself, or I'm going to have to step in, she does
it. No,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
wonderful.
just delivered in a calm manner, and she has time to think of it. I'm posing it as a question, not as a
ultimatum.
Choices. My students have choices for everything. They have choices, or how are you going to show what you know, and they get choices. Which one are you going to read? And they think they got, well, they're probably listening to some of them. They think they got choices, but sometimes I limit they got
of course.
choices. I had,
within these parameters, you can choose. Yeah.
Yes.
Because they don't realize there's parameters at that point.
Right.
I'm focused on that.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to do something fun. Kathy, can I do the whole, Kathy, is there anything you want to ask before I do my little fun thing about, let's see how well Chris knows his characters? I'm putting you on the spot. Don't sweat. You'll be fine.
To get my notes out that I mentioned.
One other question.
Yeah.
Do you ever, are you interested in expanding your role in this business? Do you ever read a book and think this would make a great, TV movie or franchise or series, and decide, I can just go produce it? Do you have any interest in going beyond the acting, directing, producing, anything like that?
Yes, I do. I am interested in directing, but I think I would want to do it later once I have more experience in sort of. Yeah, I think I'm just not ready for that yet. I think there's challenges to. Let me rephrase this. There's always challenges in directing all types of projects. I think what I would be interested in directing is more of in an independent side of things, and because of that, I want to find out more, like what am I trying to say as a director? What is my voice? What are my opinions? What is this story? And why am I telling it? Does that make sense? Whereas I feel like a TV movie, a lot of those answers are like we're operating in a more confined environment. So I want to wait until I have those answers myself as to why am I telling this story, and what is it about? What am I trying to say? And also just continuing to work as an actor and observing what the directors I'm working with are doing, in terms of understanding the technicalities of camera and lighting, and there's just a lot to know. So I don't feel like I'm ready to do it now, but I would like to do it when I've gained more experience and know a little bit more about myself. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah, it does. That reminds me when you were saying of like the type of movie that you would like to do something different. And you might not be allowed to talk about this because I have been in touch a couple months back with the writer and the director of A Safe Distance. Is the character's name Joey? Is that what it is? That looked a little different, but we haven't heard anything about that. Are you allowed to tell us anything or not really? What can you say?
I don't actually know how much I'm allowed to say
Okay.
about that. But I feel like the log line should be kind of safe to discuss, right? Because I'm sure that's public, right? It's sort of a feminist take on Bonnie and Clyde, set in a modern day setting, and it's set in British Columbia in Canada, which I think is really great because we shoot so much here and then double for different locations. So the story is a story that takes place in BC and is shot in BC, and it's a small cast. It's about a 4-hander, for the most part. I think there's some other people here and there, but it was great. It was some graduates. If you spoke to them, they went to SFU.
Yes, we talked
program there.
I wanted to have them on, and they said, well, we're not ready yet to talk about it until I'm like, okay, I'll circle back, check up on you. Yeah. I just thought it looked different and looked interesting. And they have a lot of photos themselves out that they took behind the scenes. It's beautiful, showing in the woods and whatnot. And that's why everybody got excited. We're like, we want it now.
Well, they, I believe, are looking for a festival circuit, festival release.
Yeah.
So we'll
Okay.
wait and find out. I haven't kept up with them lately. I'm not sure at what stage it's at right now,
Right.
or a timeline or anything like that. But it was really fun to work on, and everybody was, they were very kind, and it was it was a different from when you go to work on a Hallmark show or whatever, because this
Mhm.
was the indie world, so everybody's multitasking. It's a very small crew,
Right.
and I was. I mean, I was there for a little bit. It would have been fun to spend. I was going to say it would be great to spend even more time there with those guys, because I really enjoyed them. But from the time that I did spend, I had a good time, and it's much different from anything else that I've.
That's true. And I liked what they shared. They showed us the behind the scenes and the making of the movie and the filming, and I was like, oh well, that's why everybody's excited. Oh, something different. To them, it felt like it was like a thriller, maybe,
Yes,
that kind of
totally.
thing. Cool. All right.
Yeah,
Now, speaking of other movies, whatever you can say, um, are you doing a countdown to Christmas movie?
this year.
Yes.
What day
Yes
is?
or no?
Is there time before When Calls the Heart starts?
So it's a no.
I have not. No, I haven't worked on
Okay.
anything since we finished When Calls the
Okay.
Heart. I feel like there's been some kind offers from Hallmark. There's been some scheduling issues on our end, and just things that unfortunately didn't pan out. And I don't think there's going to be time before we start up again.
I know, because it's
So
soon. All right.
it's looking
And
like no.
all
But
right.
maybe
And
we can. I don't know.
mm, okay.
It has been done before that people have shot Christmas movies during When Calls the Heart.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, uh, hey, if anybody's listening at Hallmark, I would be interested in that.
All right. Kathy, what were you going to say?
Go back to the fun. I interrupted you.
Oh no, I'm not. I didn't get to the fun part yet. I'm almost there. Because I know people are like, is he in a Christmas movie? Is he in a Christmas movie? Um, I know that you can't. People want me, and don't say anything because you don't want to get yourself in trouble. People
Okay.
want me to ask about if you're coming to Kansas City this year, but
Oh, okay.
you cannot answer that because
Okay.
they're unveiling that in June. So
All right.
even though people want to know that, they're going to have to wait till June, okay? Because we can't.
Understood.
We'll be in trouble. You'll be in trouble. We'll be in trouble. And then they suffer, they being the fans over here, because then they'll be like, why can't Roxanne interview Chris? Well, because he blurted out stuff he wasn't allowed to.
Understood.
Yes.
No
But
comment on
yes.
Kansas City 2025.
But we can talk about 2024.
Yeah.
And I had people come on to talk about the experience to get people excited maybe to go for next year.
Okay.
And they had the best of time. And they said for you, as for a fan getting to interact with you, that you were extremely attentive and you like rocked people's worlds. Like they could, go off into heaven if they had to.
Well, that's very sweet. That's
Yeah.
very kind to say. I enjoyed myself in Kansas City, and I did try and give as much time as I could to the people who had made the effort and spent the money, and gone through traveling to Kansas City for that event. Feel like it's the least I can do to show up and try and be there for those folks. So if that landed, then that's great.
They did.
If they shared that with you, that means that I did what I was trying to do. Yeah, it's fun to see everybody everybody all in one place like that. When you mentioned or asked earlier if I get stopped in my day-to-day life, the answer is hardly ever. Right. So I sort of live in this normalized world where I may as well go to, whatever job that's not in any kind of public light, because I don't sense that during my life. And then going to somewhere like Kansas City, when all these Hallmark fans travel and come to one place, it's this surreal sensation. Like, who are all these people? What?
Isn't that cool? It's very
Yeah, no, it's very cool, and I understand being passionate about something, and taking the time to go and travel somewhere to be there, and there's shows that that I'm really passionate about, that I love, and if there was an opportunity to go with a bunch of friends to see the folks who made that show or a part of that show, see them chat and talk and hang out, I would love to participate in that. And then if they took an hour or 45 minutes or whatever it was to come chat with us at one point, that would mean a lot to me. So I try and put myself in the shoes of the attendees and cater to that.
Well, I'm an event coordinator. I even reached out to your people over a year ago and I said, would Chris be, would Chris be interested in coming to an event that I would organize? And I even sent a little outline, and here's what they said. No, he can't. He's too busy. I'm like,
What time of the year was it?
Whenever we could have organized it, whenever. I had more than one suggestion. I know the schedule for When Calls the Heart, so I had more than one suggestion, and they're like, "No, not for this year. He has commitments." Hallmark says no, and I'm like, "All right, whatever."
I don't know when it was, but I wonder if I was traveling or not, because we have been doing.
You were under lock and key of Hallmark. They
Okay.
said no. That's what you were under. So it's all good. But I'll reach out again. We make it good. You could even bring your family. We have a place for you to stay. We have a driver. We have all of that stuff. So yeah.
Kathy, are you the driver?
Let me be the driver.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. Don't say that. Reggie was saying she loved your impressions that you did when you were in Kansas City. That was cute. You're good at that. That was
of
fun.
castmates?
Yes, that was a lot of fun. We love that.
We're a good group for mocking each other.
Yes.
We really enjoy kind of taking the piss out of each other.
Look, people, this is true. The event I want to hold, it says I would come from Australia. They're telling you. She's here from Australia right now to come see you. We'd make it worth your while. Yeah. Just like an overnight thing. And I live in a very small town in South Jersey. I think I may have told you this before. And I call it my little Hallmark town because it very much is like a Hallmark town. And you just fit right in. We would just have a grand old time.
You know what's funny? I wore. You just reminded me of. I felt like getting dressed up one night. We weren't doing it. We were going to get groceries, and I was wearing a turtleneck and some slacks and a nice peacoat kind of thing. And we went and paying for our items. And the lady at the checkout counter goes, "My goodness, you two look like you just walked out of a Hallmark movie." And I laughed. And she's like, "Oh, is that so funny?" And I think it's going to sound pretentious, but I think I was wearing some rather nice threads. And I said, "I don't think they have the budget for these clothes on a Hallmark movie."
Oh my God, that's true. You had, who's the designer? Oh, I can't.
Because it's so tight. It's so funny. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, Christmas Crashers was an example of. Wait, no, is that what did they change?
Holiday Crashers.
Holiday Crashers. Talk about it, because
they were like, okay, here's a character. He's super wealthy. He's got a $2 billion company, and he's always in suits. And like, but we don't have enough money for nice suits. I was like, oh no, what are we gonna? So you end up you find yourself in that position a lot where. Maybe your suits are from Banana Republic or something like that, but in reality, the character would be wearing something off of the show suits, but it just can't. So, anyway.
Speaking of holiday crashers,
now I'm embarrassed that I said that.
No, don't be
a nice sweater and nice jacket. That's all I meant.
It's true. Nobody's going to think otherwise. Stop it. Okay. Holiday Crashers. Everybody was beautifully dressed. It was fun hosting like podcasts about that one. The chemistry with the entire cast was amazing, and everybody, we call it the smooch fest, because usually in a Hallmark movie you get like mwah at the end. Well, people were all smooching. We had like different smooches all over the place. We loved it. And there was a cute at the end when you're dancing and you pick her up and you do a big old twirl. Did you put that twirl in, or was that scripted?
I don't remember. I think that it was not me. I think that it was either
Okay.
scripted or Lee, who was the executive producer and writer on it, she said, "I've got this really great idea for the ending. You know, like I really want this. You know, I'm
Mhm.
envisioning this twirl, this pick up and twirl." And so that one was did not come from me. The One Calls the Heart one came from me.
I know, we know.
Yeah. Um,
And Erin squeals in it. It's like she
what's
does a
that?
little squeal. You know what
Oh,
else Erin used to do? And everybody here, I'm going to say this.
what?
Erin was like a hummer when she goes to kiss. She'll do like a hum, and she doesn't do that anymore. She did that when she was kissing Lucas,
Mm.
but she does not hum anymore when she
Well, let's
kisses.
see if Aaron watches this show and look for season 12 if there are any hums. If
There
there
aren't
are,
any.
then she watched.
Yes. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Alexa, shut off. That's my Alexa telling me what time it is.
Oh,
Okay. Your throat is probably sore because I know you're a little under the weather, but I still want to share a few more things. And
sure.
then thank you so much. And then I'll let you leave. We won't hold you hostage anymore. Kathy with her smile up there. So I had a movie idea for
Okay.
you, and I forget who I pitched it to, one of the writers that I'm friendly with, and I was like, wait, I have a movie idea, and I want Chris to play in it, and he's a single dad, and he has a food truck, and he feeds the homeless, and then the councilwoman has to come to tell him he can't do that, and there's like this whole thing I have out, and
You need a permit, sir.
right. And AI made like a whole little thing for me too. So we had take a walk on the wild side day, a random day. I don't know, what was it, in April or March? I forget. So we went out onto Twitter and we showed all the things that Chris McNally does, because you know you like the wild, being out in the wild, but your take a walk on the wild side day is also somebody who's not afraid to try different things and embrace different things or push themselves. So I, of course, my little idea was there, and people did gorgeous. If you have a minute and you go on to X and you put that hashtag in, you're going to see all these beautiful edits and posts that people did,
Wait,
and it trended.
take a walk on the wild side?
Yes,
That's the
and Chris
hashtag?
McNally, yes.
Yeah.
It's really cool. We also I always send, when there's something special like that, I send them on to your people. I hope they share them
Mm.
with you because they let you know that you were trending again. There's a new one coming up. It's Foodie Day, and you're a foodie. We're going to somehow
Yes.
fit that in, and it's the 28th of June, and we're going to get your name out there. We're going to come up with a hashtag, and I don't come up with the hashtags. I'm bad at it. Everybody else has got really good ideas. There's someone named Tanya, which I think I shared some of your recipes. You asked for her recipe at Christmas time with
Okay.
you. She is really good at making all kinds of gorgeous graphics and whatnot. And she usually has a really cool thing that she does is the people that don't have an account on X, she'll
Mhm.
take their stuff and put it out there for them with their
Oh,
little
okay.
note. And it's nice.
That's
So
nice that you have such a community, that
yes.
bird from One Calls the Heart. That's very neat.
Right. So if you're ever feeling like you need an ego boost, you're going to go over to X, you're going to look for the hashtags, and you're going to see all the cool things that are there. So here's another thing I want to, you probably don't even want this. And here's me campaigning for this.
What is it?
So on Hallmark Plus, they have a lot of reality TV, like Lacey Chabert's like the Good Samaritan. She goes around and finds
Yeah,
people that do amazing things. Then
I've
you've
been
got
hearing
Luke.
about this.
Yes, Luke. I'm a big fan of Hallmark Plus. Luke, he does home improvements.
Okay, that one I've seen. I've
Yes.
watched that one because I like home stuff.
Yes.
I find it very funny how they'll be going through an episode and then they'll have the one like 90-second part where Luke's going to cut something.
Yes.
And it's like slow motion. The wood chips are flying, and his muscles are
I
glistening.
know he's such a
And then-
hunky man.
And
I
then we
know.
wrap up his little cutting, and he goes, "Well, now we're ready for the install," or something. And then they put
There's even some matchmaking, which kind of was a little off-putting for me. That gave me cringy.
I
Jonathan
must have missed
Bennett.
that episode. I didn't get that far. I
Okay,
didn't see the
so
matchmaking. I
no,
just
the
saw.
matchmaking is a separate show.
Oh, okay. I was
Yes,
like, who are they
a
going to
totally
matchmake
separate show.
with? All right.
So we've got home improvement. We don't have anything with food. I'm like Chris McNally. He could be the host and he could go around, showing different restaurants and bars and have someone like, I think you should be a host of like a foodie type of series. Yep.
Have you seen the the Christmas cookie
Yes,
show?
of
And yet
course.
you still think I should, you still advocate for me
Absolutely.
to host this? Okay.
Yes,
Because
you'd be
I did
really
not fare
good
well
at
on
it.
that.
Yes, we've
And,
seen everything that you've done. We saw when you made your whatever shook it all up drink and in the height of the pandemic. Yes.
well, that was in my own kitchen. Yeah,
Yes,
no, I was just had so much anxiety during that
I
Christmas
know.
cookie countdown thing, and I was thinking to myself. I remember looking around at one point, and I was looking at the lights and everybody, and they were filming it, and I was just went off in my own world by accident, and I was like, how did I get it on a reality? How did I get here? And then Pascal sent me this screenshot from the show when it came out, and it was me standing next to Aaron, and Aaron's looking over at the cookie corner, or something. I think it was the cookie corner, but where that is what was happening, right? And then they cut to some reactions to some other people in the back, and then so she's looking at that and is invested, and then I'm next to her, and I'm completely dead in the eyes, and I'm
No.
staring up, and just like that, and I was like, oh my god, that was that moment when I was thinking, how did I get here? And I was in my own head. And then
Listen,
they reached out to everybody saying, "Hey, I think we're going to do another. We might do another season of this." And everyone was talking about it, like, "Yeah, you get the invite for the like to do another Christmas or another cookie thing." And I was, "Yeah, I got it." I said, "You got what? I didn't get one. When did you get the invite?" And they're like, "Oh, it was like last week or like the week before." I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't get one."
no,
So I
it's
don't
not
think.
why.
I
No.
appreciate you advocating for me, but I may have to pass on that kind of situation because it's just not my forte.
Oh,
But
you
thank you for the thought.
underestimate yourself. Look, Carrie said I would cook with you. So in our special event, you're going to cook when you come. When you come to my little town of Hamilton. Part of that is you cooking with us.
Understood. Okay, well, that's fine as long as it's not on camera. The reality
No.
TV thing is just so odd, It's like when you're watching it and you feel like you're watching in real time, but you're not because they'll say, and the person being voted home today or going home today is, and then they wait for like 90 seconds as they film everybody to get a reaction, and then they'll say the name, and then the person gets upset, and then they leave, and then the guy goes, "What's that? You didn't get it? You need it again? Okay, everybody come on back." And then they line them up again, and they're like, and the person going home this week is, and then they do it all, and then the poor person has to hear their name again. I'm like, this is not acting, like these people really wanted this prize. These people really care about this. This is their real life. And
Right.
now they're having to be put through this experience over and over and over again. Whereas this is totally different when you're shooting multiple takes of a scene. So I don't know. It's just a weird, I
So
don't think
that was a
it's reality
contest.
TV, except for Lucas sawing. I'll watch Lucas saw things all day.
Look, it would be different if you were the host. You'd be great. That's what Rona says. And
Okay.
yes, and it's not a contest. And it would be orchestrated and you would be great. But that's okay. You're allowed to say no. I'm all right with
Well,
that.
please forgive my tangent there on reality.
No, we love that you're expressing your feelings. That's okay. If you were in my class and having a meltdown, I would just let you talk. All right, Kathy, do you want to say anything? Because this is how we're going to exit. We're exiting with, I have some quotes. Do you want to add anything, my dear? No?
Audio Expo next year is in April in Schaumburg. So when you get to town, dinner's on me for you and your friend.
Yes,
See there.
you're around. Yes. All right. So I have a quote and I want to see if it's a dialogue that you said. I want to see if you can figure out which character it was. Okay. All right.
This is a character talking to Lucas?
No, this is
Character
these are
you
words that
played.
you as an actor spoken.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
All right. I love this one.
You know I have a terrible memory, right?
I
So
know. So we're going to help you out. Don't worry. Your friends over here, I could say one word that you've said and they'll know. They're going to help us out in the
All right.
comments. Okay, you ready, friends?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this goes.
All right. So this is what this particular character says. He looks to his leading lady and he says, "You think I'm very handsome?" Who said that? In what movie? They're going to know.
It was Noah. No, come on, wasn't? Oh, it was Christmas Holiday Crashers.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
It was Holiday Crashers. Very good. Okay. This one I like, and I think people are, yep, they're telling us now. They're giving us the name in the comments. This one is, I like the idea of not knowing what's next.
No idea. I like the idea of not knowing what's next. Noah? One of them's got to be Noah. It's not Noah? Is it Lucas?
No, it's Captain Tom. It's Captain Tom.
Good old Captain Tom. That makes sense. You know, he's living on the boat. You know, he likes the idea of not knowing what's next.
Now your friends have gotten it.
Okay, 0 for 2. Let's try again.
No, don't feel bad about this. This is just fun, okay? And they're all getting it. I want you to see that they know. Look, they're all in the comments.
Wait, I
Captain
don't have it. I have to open the comments.
Yeah,
One
they
moment,
know.
please.
You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm just saying.
Wait, tip line. Oh no.
No.
Someone's guessing that.
Someone said it. Other people got it. Tom and handsome Tom. There was Tom up there. It moves fast.
Justin,
All right.
I couldn't remember the character's name in Holiday Crashers. Thank you.
All right, Justin. All right, so this one is fun. This is a safe place for true believers like us.
Oh, well, that I remember because that was the elf in
Yes.
I forget the name of the movie, but Buttons the elf.
Buttons the elf is so stinking cute. We love it. The time that you had, I feel like sometimes you had a little bit more time in that particular scene than you did in some episodes of Fun Calls the Heart. Okay. Oh, I said
that one. They just let me go. The director was in the back and he just kept showing me. He's like, another one, keep going.
Great.
Feed me things to say or be like, come on. And so I just, and
you're looking
I
at
think it was towards, I don't know if it was towards the end of the day. And I feel like I remember them not cutting. They just did a series. And so it was just over and over and over of just different things. And then they used whichever one they wanted. That was a good time.
Several. So I have a question about this. How do you get cameos? Do they call you up and say, hey, you got time to do a cameo for us?
Yeah. I think they'll look at the schedule. They'll look at where people are and they'll look at what's being filmed in those places. And they'll try and link up and say, we have an offer for this cameo over here in this. Are you available? Will it work out? That's how that happens.
Christina is saying she loves the cameos. We do too.
They're fun. I like the one with the running and the marathon.
Yes, and those facial expressions. You were the reindeer. We have a charm bracelet, and we would each month do like trivia, and whoever won would get a charm. They're free. All your movies, everything
really?
you've ever done. Yes. And recently I had to add on a little girl for your little girl. And we also added on the reindeer. Actually, I think when I would host my podcast, I kind of use that as so we have the little
that's inspired by the,
and we have a little elf for Buttons. And I forget what the other one was, something for Holiday Crashers, I think we put in there, but we've got all of it. Like it's a whole full bracelet.
It's just like $1.
What is it?
Because Justin and Holiday Crashers, he's just so successful. You know, he's got all that.
Good idea. You know what? Since you suggested it, I'm going to add it on there. Then that's
a little dollar sign or something.
Yeah, that's cute. We did martini glass because I recreated the coconut on the rim. I did that.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. I think that's what we used. Yeah,
very cool.
I like the dollar one. We'll add it in. All right, this one. This one, when I heard this, I remember saying to myself, okay, I have always had faith that I would know the perfect woman for me when I met her.
Oh, I don't know. I'm kidding. I know that one's Lucas.
Don't tease us like that. Oh my God.
As soon as I heard the first 3 words, I knew that was Lucas.
Oh gosh, it was like one of the best lines of me thinking, how long is this going to drag on for them to finally get together?
That was that in the dinner date in Union City?
Yes.
Before
Yep,
going to see
it was.
Yeah.
Sure was beautiful. All right, here we go. This one's fun. And then we're going to let you go and you could have some hot tea for your throat.
Okay.
This one is interesting. This is something a little different. Okay, you ready for this?
Yes.
If this was a different time and a different place, Kathy, we would be together.
Is this are we talking to Kathy?
It was the highest rated Hallmark movie of all time. It was called A Holiday Delusion. You know, really?
I know. Kathy said to me, "What about this line?" And I'm so dumb. Like, I always think people are like, I don't realize they're joking at first. And I'm like, okay. And I start writing it. And I was like, what? And then I realized she meant you. And I was like, oh, we'll end with that one.
A Holiday Delusion. I look forward to filming.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for spending so much time with us.
Yeah, of course. It's no problem.
All right. Oh, yeah, they're saying they're still giving the answer because there's a delay about Lucas and Union City. See, they know everything. Here, please come back again, Martha says. All right, I'm ending this with, I'm going to show you something just so you could see, get some, close your eyes. I don't want to make anybody sick.
Close my eyes?
No, you're okay. I moved it fast. This is what someone had written when I put on the fan page, who's your favorite character? And this is what Joanne wrote. Chris McNally puts his heart and soul into every character he becomes and makes them all believable. His phenomenal acting skills excel above all others. Each character he portrays draws you into the storyline. I can't just pick one character he depicts, as each character sets forth the story he is a part of, and I have loved each and every one of them.
Well, that's very sweet. Thank you, Joanne.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? I love that. And then we have, because of copyright issues, we have to be careful with what we do. So Christina, and I think you know this, Christina, who is the admin, she put together with Chris together the fan page, and she designed this. And so this is different merch. So you got cups and all of this good stuff. We even have socks. She has socks on. But I know it's so cute with your face on them. But
I see them. I didn't realize.
the money goes towards Wagmore Pets. And
that's great.
Yeah, we had talked about that. We still do it. And then we did the hashtag, because this was one of our things when we were campaigning for you to be in a Christmas movie. It says Mary McNally, and you can't see it, but these two lovely ladies you met. This is Nikki and Martha. And it has like a little like a martini glass, I think, on it or something.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And then we have this where you're the Gov.
Oh,
that's
the Gov.
Christina. Christina is the blonde, and then the dark curly hair is Curry. Those two are admin as well. Christina's the one who created your fan page. So we have the Gov. I have one of those too. That's awesome. Then there's Kathy. She's a fan with the Gov one.
That's so great.
I know, because you were loved, and that's how we will end the podcast. Well,
thank you. So thanks for sharing that.
You're
and thanks
welcome.
for taking the time to meet with me.
Sure.
And also for everything that you do for When It Calls to the Heart and Hallmark, and creating, being an important part of the community that is around. I'm starting to fade. Can you tell?
It's okay.
I'm just trying to say thank you. Thanks for.
I know you are.
Thank you for what you do and for what you bring to this community.
Back at you. We appreciate it.
Sorry we kept you so long. I hope that someone's going to make you a nice, delicious meal and you can go rest.
I haven't thought that far ahead, but
it's still early.
I will soon. Yeah, on West Coast time. So
yeah, that's true. You are. All right, everyone's saying thank you, and they're hoping
everybody who came to hang out with us during this,
and they're really hoping to see you in Kansas City, but don't say anything.
Well, I was excited. I will say I was excited when I heard that they are going to be doing it again. That it was a success the first round, or at least this last year, and that they want to go again, because I had a really great time. It's nice for us as a cast to go somewhere together, and get to sort of have that experience and hang out and spend time together, and then also interact with all the Hallmark fans, and seeing them happy makes us happy. So yeah, it's just an all-round positive experience.
Good. All right. We're gonna wave and then we'll say goodbye to you behind the stage.
Okay. All right. Well, goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.